I'm Alex,
And I'm Teddy.
and we are
The Button Mappers.
Hey, the Button Mappers. I wanna be the very best
Like Clue
button
Land.
No, Teddy, you messed up my song.
Da, 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 da. These columns are colorful.
To map them is my cause.
Da-na-na. Is it worth it?
Shit, dude.
Welcome to another intellectual discourse.
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't call that intellectual.
Well, to become an intellectual, you need to transcend these worldly affairs, such as Clue Land and columns. And
I guess you're right.
in a way, the discourse will only get more intellectual from there.
Welcome to Pokewary.
Pokuary?
Yeah, I guess we're doing a Pokemon month thing.
How did that happen?
I don't know. But last episode was Pokemon Sword and Shield game talk, and I know we touched in that video. I believe we touched a little bit with our Pokemon experiences, but I figured, well, more like you figured, because this one was your idea. But we figured we would just go all out and talk about the evolution of the Pokemans.
Dun 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 dun. What Pokemon is evolving?
It's been around since we were younglings.
Yes, yes, back in the days, a flashback. I remember having a Game Boy Color and Pokemon Red and Pokemon Blue and my cousin's save file corrupted. Yeah.
I remember it was like 97, 98 whenever like the boom really hit, like the first generation came out, and then like the Pokemon cartoon was on the air, and Pokemon cards were literally everywhere, and you just couldn't do anything without like Pokemon being involved during that time,
Mm-hmm. And it's generational too, because we were kids at the time. So I mean, we grew up with it versus maybe elders in the community didn't care so much about the Pokemon.
the elders, the gaming elders. Yeah, it's definitely like it started with our generation and then it's worked its way up. So yeah, like the older generation, I don't see a lot of them really like caring about Pokemon. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think the comment that really stuck with me the most in our last game talk was when you said that with Pokemon Sword and Shield, it's like, even though it's become a bit more flashy, it's almost like nothing's changed. And I think that's why it's going to be interesting to look at all the primary games in the series and kind of map out how they've evolved without doing a map out.
Map out. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Essentially, the Pokemon formula is the exact same. You're a 10-year-old kid. You're gonna go get a starter Pokemon, go catch some Pokemon, battle some gym leaders, and that's that.
Yeah, I know it all too well. Like you, I played the first 4 generations consistently, and I know them very well. Some of the later ones, it's mix and match. Like I kind of know Generation 6, I kind of don't. So.
Yeah, the later ones, I was also like, I'm like the gaming elders. I just stopped caring. I didn't care about Pokemon during that time.
What a prestigious title, Gaming Elder. I think
the Gaming Elders.
If we make a new channel, we can be the gaming elders.
That's when we get old. We'll be the Gaming Elders.
That's something to look forward to.
We're just like, hey Teddy, you want to talk about how much we love Clue Land?
Let me just pull out my button map.
Oh, I think I gotta put my teeth in.
Well, back in my days, we used to, I don't know, clean teeth and Super Mario Sunshine.
Back in my day, we used to play columns,
but I prefer Tetris. I don't know, I'm done.
I prefer Tetris. So Pokemon, man. The original games came out 97. I want to say 97. Pokemon Blue, Pokemon Red, and eventually Pokemon Yellow.
Yep, that was time to be alive. What if you were like just gonna start off about red, blue, and yellow? What do you have to say?
I love the first generation Pokemon, and I think I can say that for most Pokemon fans. You know, like the first generation, it just had like really good, simple, like character designs. You know.
So you're saying you loved the monsters?
Yes. Some of my favorites come from the first generation, and I could probably name a lot of the first generation.
I had to memorize like the periodic table of elements.
Yeah, and I can't say that for the generations after this. I can name a lot of the ones from 2, 3, and 4, yeah, but like, I don't know, it's just like, I don't think there's a Pokemon in the first generation that wasn't like memorable, you know? Or that like didn't have a cool, like nice design. Even if it was a little strange, like Mr. Mime, it was strange, but you know, like they all still felt like Pokemon, you know?
What are some of your favorites?
Well, my favorites from Gen 1, my absolute favorites are Bulbasaur and Gengar, for sure. Gotta love Meowth. You always gotta love Meowth.
Do you always have to love Meowth, even in Pokemon Sword and Shield?
Well, yeah, even weird beard Meowth. But, you know, you gotta love Meowth. You gotta love a lot of the, just the random ones. I like, Ditto a lot. Like, he's strange.
Without looking at the decks, I love the fighting types. I like Hitmonlee, Hitmonchan. I like Aerodactyl. The whole fossil thing. The fossil Kabutops. That's a cool one. Snorlax. You don't get... Snorlax is the homie. Like, if you were gonna, like, you know, chill and play games with somebody, I would play Snorlax.
Snorlax.
It would be Snorlax.
Yeah, exactly.
That's like just 5 right there. I'm sure I could keep going nostalgically about the Pokemon themselves, and most people probably could. But where do you stand on the games themselves?
They're simple but fun. They're like the perfect introduction to RPGs.
Okay. In what way?
The way that like it's very, which we've heard this a lot. I know that the first generation has some like a little bit unbalancing with the types and stuff, but like it's very simple. Like you start the game, you get your starter Pokemon, you know, then you go through all the gyms, and it's very, I don't know, it's just a very simple concept, you know, and all the games follow the same concept, but I feel like the first game is just like they didn't throw too much story, like, you know, like there's not really like story elements there, you know, per se.
There is if you seek it out.
Yeah, but it's not like the later games where like there's always like a big like story in the background, you know. Like it was just it was more about just becoming the best trainer you could, you know, getting the best Pokemon, you know, filling your decks.
And part of that is it's really formula driven, because I think one of the reasons it is an engaging RPG, which I don't know, you know, a lot of times I do play these RPGs that do get stale after a little while. Pokemon never gets stale because it's dynamic, because you're always changing your team, and there's, you know, constantly a good number of monsters coming along. There's evolutions, and even within those first 150, it's not like overwhelming, and it's, you know, pretty simple. I think that the formula in those first 3 games is dated, that the combat in the later games holds up a little better, but we'll see where it goes as it goes. I think the idea of 8 gym leaders and Elite Four, and even some of the natural environments you get to explore, like the Rock Cave, and I don't even know if that's what it's called, but like the 3 birds, the legendaries, you know, it works really well in that first generation.
And you gotta think, like, even like talking about the original Pokemon, like by the time this game came out, the Game Boy was fucking old. Like, the Game Boy was like what, like 10 years old, something like that. Maybe a little older. I don't know the exact date the Game Boy came out, but yeah, it was like, you know, it was like if they released a new RPG on the Wii U today or something, you know, I'd be like, why, you know? And the fact that it blew up in the way it did just shows, like, not only the fact, you know, that like it did have a good presence and like television and trading cards and stuff. But the fact that like people like the game sold that well on old hardware, showed that like it was a solid release.
The only thing I would say is that the character designs themselves look kind of ugly as sprite based on the system itself.
Oh, that's more of a limitation of the Game Boy.
Yeah, but I mean, by comparison, like they've upgraded quite a bit.
Yeah,
the last
they're
time
more
you saw
fully realized.
a Grimer or a Ghastly in those games?
Yeah, they're more fully realized now than they were then, with the character designs. But again, I take that to hardware limitations for a lot of that. Even though Pikachu was chubby as fuck in the first generation.
Gotta see this now.
Like chonky Pikachu.
Pikachu.
He's had too many Poke treats.
Did you ever want to evolve your Pikachu?
No. Why would you?
To get a Raichu.
What kind of monster are you?
A pocket.
If you're any self-loving Pokemon fan during that time, man, you wanted a Pikachu. Pikachu's all over the place. I know I had at least 5 stuffed Pikachus growing up.
That's interesting because in Gen 2, did you ever have a Pichu?
Sure.
Stuffed?
No.
Shaken,
No,
not stuffed.
So what, you want to move on to Gen 2?
Yes, we are ascending. We are evolving a generation. It's Gen 2. Gold.
I would argue gold and silver are probably I wouldn't say they're my favorites, but they're up there with my favorite games in the franchise.
Tell me why.
Tell me why. I don't know. It's more of the same. I really like the Wait, it is gold and silver where you can fight Red, right? That's
Wait,
cool.
is it Red? Is that his name?
That's his name canonically. I mean, I guess it'd be whatever you name the character.
Is it Red though? Because I thought in the first game you had a rival that appears in. Oh no, you're right. It's gold and silver because it appears in the mountain with the Tyrannotars and stuff.
Yeah, that's a really cool ending sequence. Because it is getting to fight yourself from the first game. That's cool. Plus, you get 2 whole regions, pretty much.
That's true.
Yeah, it's a really good game. Plus, the new Pokemon that were introduced were pretty cool too.
You get 2 new types, I think, Dark and Steel.
Dark and is that wait? Where did Fairy come in? I forget.
That's way later, so we'll get to that.
That's way later.
I'll let you know.
Okay. I'm not the biggest Pokemon fan in the world, so I can't remember all that stuff.
You also get I don't know if they had double types in the first game, so I think they started to introduce that. No,
yeah,
they definitely did because Gyarados.
Yeah.
So we get another classic.
They started to introduce the 2-type Pokemons. Again, I think this one does have some cool character designs with the Pokemon too. Some of them do feel a little more anime-ish with the character designs, which isn't a bad thing, but they aren't as balls to the wall nuts as they get later on.
I'll tell you what, it's got some of my favorites this gen.
Okay, so what are your favorites?
I love Umbreon. That's a classic. Typhlosion. Do you remember that one? The fire guy?
Yeah.
Note, I said some. Yeah. Oh, Murkrow's cool.
Cool. I really have to bring up a list because I can't think of any of the names off the top of my head from Gen 2.
Oh, Scizor, Steelix, Gligar.
Steelix, I know Steelix, yeah.
Oh, Teddy Ursa, my boy Teddy. Sneasel. Teddy Kong.
What else stuck out to you about this generation?
Berries. Thank you very much.
I mean, berries are delicious.
You can harvest berries here. There was a Pokemon daycare, so you can breed Pokemon. I think this one might have had held items because it had berries. And that's about it.
Riveting. You know what I remember about Generation 2?
What's that?
Which I don't want to go on a tangent, but I remember the Pokemon 2000 movie. Do you remember that movie?
Was this the one with the dogs or the birds?
The birds.
Yeah, I own that.
One.
Pokemon,
Yeah.
the movie.
Yeah, Pokemon 2. Well, Pokemon, the first one was the one with Mewtwo and stuff, but 2000 was the second movie, and it was the one where they go to like the island and stuff. And there's a lot of Gen 2 action there.
Mm-hmm.
So I think of that movie a lot whenever I think of that Gen 2.
Yeah, they're both good movies. Those first two. Anything after that, I haven't watched.
I've seen the 3 because the 3000 had the big dog guy and the unknown. What the Entei, right? Yeah, Entei and the unknown. But that's the next generation.
Shall we go?
The Gen 3. This is my favorite generation.
Wow.
Yeah, Gen 3 has always been my favorite. I grew up playing Sapphire. I don't have a copy of Sapphire anymore. I have a copy of Ruby now, but I grew up playing Sapphire, and that was like probably my most played Game Boy Advance game.
What's up with Gen 3? Do you like Mudkips? Tell me why.
Mudkips. Do you like Plusle and Minun?
Said no one ever.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. Maybe it was the first generation where they were able to give more detail with the better hardware, you know? It just brought a little more life to the world.
My thing with this one was they took the idea of these legendary Pokemon and really tied them to the environments. You know, I liked with Gen 1 that Mewtwo was like the science experiment gone wrong, and that was very visible in the game. I'm sorry, that was Gen 1. Did I say Gen 2? I don't know.
I don't know.
Gen 2 was like the Mystic Cave ruins. No, I'm joking. It's the Mystic kind of quality, like the unknown caves, and then like the 3 dogs, you know, hot dogs.
Hot dog, hot diggity dog.
Hot dog 1, hot dog 2. Now, but Gen 3 is like Kyogre and Groudon. And these guys will actually change the landscape. And so you get things that tie alongside that, like weather effects that change. There might be a torrential downpour when you're surfing. You know, there might be excessive sunlight. And it really reflects in not just the environments, but the Pokemon and the places you go, and like the team that you fight, Team Magma, Team Aqua. Like, these games were good enough to deserve a remake on the 3DS. And I think that's pretty special.
I remember playing it on the Game Boy Advance. I haven't played the 3DS remakes too much. I do have a copy of Omega Ruby, I believe, but I haven't played it. But I remember like on the Game Boy Advance playing it and like getting surf and being like, whoa, like I get to surf, and like the, you know, because like everything had a little more detail. So I don't know, it was just really cool. Like now it probably just looks like a Super Nintendo game, but back then, you know, like that was the best you had on your Game Boy Advance. So, you know.
And cool. I mean, it's not a bad thing to look like a Super Nintendo game.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing. You know, now though, you know, handhelds can look like the Switch. You know,
but there is still something charming about that 16-bit look that makes people crave it to this day.
Yeah, and I feel like this was the last game to really settle for that look, which is kind of sad, you know. Because all later. I was like, you know, moving on, we're going to move on to the DS, which is weird because they only had one generation on the Game Boy Advance. And moving to the DS and on, they tried to do a little more, you know, with the graphics. So this is the last truly 2D Pokemon, I could say.
I think one other thing I liked about it was, in terms of add-on content, this is, I don't know if it's like it's not the first time they did something with like post-game. In the second game, they had this like area where you could challenge the higher level opponents, and you know, there's always like the Mount Moon or whatever, like not Mount Moon, it's Victory Road, or I don't know, something like that. It's something after the game. You got to do a map out or something just to figure this all out. But in Pokemon Emerald, that is by far and large to me the best of its time at the very least, because you have the battle arena. You get to challenge like 7 different arenas and try and get like these tokens to show that you like beat like a very competent gym battle. You can't just do it by level because they average you, and there's like different challenges according to each place that you go. It's a real shame that they didn't do a remake of Emerald, because that game to me is one of the most competent. You also have abilities with Pokemon, and egg moves continue. So I really like this generation.
I just thought about it, and yeah, this is the last generation that's gotten updates, right? This last generation that's gotten re-releases. But I was thinking about it, and this generation and Generation 2 both had re-releases on the DS and the 3DS. Gen 1, though, I think that might be the most accessible generation, because it has the Game Boy version, it has the Game Boy Advance re-releases with Leaf Green and Fire Red. Then, technically, Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee are also Gen 1.
Let's go.
So, the first generation has had 3 remakes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, I just thought that was kind of interesting.
Can't wait for the phone version.
The phone version. Yay. So these first 3 generations we talked about are probably are really accessible, because they have a few different variations. Which version of each would you want to recommend?
So one from each?
Yeah, like one of the different variations from each generation.
Oh.
So like the first generation, I would probably say the best thing to go with maybe the Game Boy Advance versions.
Fire Red, Leaf Green.
Yeah, because they still hold true to the original releases, but they have some updates.
I would say Yellow. Yellow has unique things that the first 2 games don't have, and that Fire Red and Leaf Green don't necessarily have. I haven't played Let's Go Pikachu or Eevee, so I can't speak to those.
They're fun. I don't think they're necessary, though.
I just think it's adorable that Pikachu follows behind you the entire game.
Oh, yeah, and you can make him wear clothing.
And you can surf with Pikachu
Yeah,
on a surfboard.
My favorite part of Let's Go Pikachu is that I can ride my Onix.
Okay.
That's beautiful. Gen 2, this one's tough. I don't know too much about Heart Gold and Soul Silver. I don't think I've played them too much.
They have a high commanding value. People love them.
Hey,
you could make any Pokemon
DS.
you want follow behind you. Like the same way in Yellow, you had Pikachu follow behind you. In Heart Gold and Soul Silver, that was the thing people loved.
Okay, well maybe that's the recommended way to play it, is on a DS.
If you got $50 to drop.
Okay, $50. Or once again, you could play the Game Boy versions on every system up until the DS Lite, because I think after that they took away the Game Boy support.
You can do it on 3DS Virtual Console. I think they've released those.
So there's four ways to play the original generation.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus. So you could play the original generation on every single Nintendo handheld except for the DSi.
And the Virtual Boy.
Stop talking about the Virtual Boy. Okay, what about Gen 3? Would you recommend the Game Boy Advance or the 3DS versions?
Oh, well, I love Emerald, and there's no remake of that, so I'm sticking with
I
Emerald.
would still stick with the... even though I haven't played too much of it, so I can't really say, I would still probably stick with the Game Boy Advance just because of the... I don't know, it just looks good in the Game Boy Advance,
There's a few things I wish that... I don't know, I didn't feel like Oras or Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire quite held the candle to the originals, but I don't know. Maybe I'm too much of a nitpicker. I do like the original sprites in those games.
Mm-hmm. That's just a good, classic Pokemon game that's still pretty, it's not too archaic like the first 2 generations where, everything kind of looks bad. I think it's the most appropriate place to start, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, moving on, we got the brand new Nintendo DS. 2 screens, what the heck? How is this going to work for Pokemon?
Grandma reaches into her pocket, pulls out a DS Lite. What's she playing? Brain Age.
Brain Age.
You're like, Grandma, where's Pokemon Gen 4?
But Gen 4, as I remember, took a minute to come out of the DS, too. I think they had, some spin-off, Ranger games and stuff between there.
These are Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum.
Yeah, Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum. This is like my last Pokemon generation, but I did play a lot of Gen 4.
What do you remember most about Gen 4?
Cheating. Because I had an action replay.
Okay. So, cheater.
Yeah. I was young, I was just like, oh, cool, I can have all the rare candies I want, and I can walk through some walls. And it broke the experience. But mainly, my goal during Gen 4 was to, the whole thing with the DS was like you could play wirelessly with somebody else, right? Like if they had a DS, you had a DS, you just gotta like link it up, and that's it. No wires, no anything like that. So, like me and my friends would just try to make like crazy Pokemon teams, and battle it out like that.
This is the first generation that I just don't. There's a lot of things that are forgettable to me. I don't really remember the story. I think like the dragons have some like time travel capabilities or something.
Yeah, this is where like some of the Pokemon lore starts to get off the wall.
The legendaries are crazy. There's one called Darkrai that will just put you right to sleep. There's 3 generic psychic things, sprites.
Yeah.
I don't know, and the starters: Turtwig, Chimchar, and Piplup. I don't know.
I like them. I mean, this is leading into like Pokemon becoming a little too over designed, I think. But I can still dig some of the Pokemon from this generation.
Like Bidoof.
Yeah, like Bidoof. Or Zigzagoon.
This Gen 2.
Wait, is it Jigdoo?
Yeah, Gen 2.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
I might be. Am I wrong?
Yes, you're wrong. I'm looking on Cerebi.net.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know why I thought Zigzagoon. He looks like a Generation 4 Pokemon to me.
What Pokemon sound do you remember most?
I don't. They're all just inaudible screeches.
I'm looking at the Pokedex for Gen 4, and I'm thinking of Gastrodon.
Oh wait, hold on. Krogunk's from Gen 4, right?
Yes, hopefully.
I fucking love Krogunk.
Okay.
He's one of my favorite Pokemon. So there's that.
Okay.
Like I said, this was the last generation I really got into.
I got obsessed with shiny hunting in this game. That's where it became a thing.
Ooh.
It's like you could use the Poke Radar after you beat the game and just try and build chains. And I'm like a very math-driven person. You know this. Sonic 2, I like math. But I don't know. I got way too into it, so I've kind of like laid off of the shiny hunting since then.
Do you think Gen 4 really took advantage of the DS?
The next one does.
Okay. But Gen 4, so no.
No. I mean, you could do wireless battles, so that's cool, but otherwise, you could not really... Connecting to the internet on that thing was not easy. I remember they used to promote that you had to go to McDonald's or something, and like the routers were not really working with the system.
What about visually? Like, the way the game looks?
Wasn't bad. I mean, there are some DS RPGs that look pretty good. I'd say this is up there with them. It definitely looks distinct from the 16-bit look.
I think it was a good choice not to try to go full 3D with this one, because like early 3D DS games look kind of bad, like there's a few standouts like Mario Kart DS and stuff like that, but a lot of them that tried 3D in the early stages of the DS look very blocky. So maybe it was a good choice not to go full 3D. I like the fact that this game lets you connect the Gen 3 games through the Game Boy Advance slot and transfer stuff over. That was a cool feature.
Yeah. And that was before they started doing like the paywall stuff, which we'll get into.
Yeah, which we'll get into. Like I said, this was the last generation I played, so moving on, I'm going to let Teddy take the reins, and I'll just ask some questions, I guess.
Let's take a ride into Gen 5.
This is black and white, right?
This is my vision.
This is when I got off. Okay, let me ask you a question. Is Black and White and Black and White 2 the same generation?
I think so because it's the same Pokemon. It's just different stories.
Okay, okay. I have heard that these games have cool stories.
I played through the story of White version 2. I played it once. I don't remember anything.
Okay. Well, that's promising.
I don't have much to say. I got turned off to this generation as well, but I did at least go back and replay it. It was right before Pokemon X and Y were coming out. There's a lot of hype around it. The generation is called Unova. I don't know what that means, but your starters are... Is this right? Victini, Servine, and Tepig? No, maybe not. Oshawott. Victini's wrong. Snivy. Yeah, I don't know. I would need to play this one again to give it fair assessment. But I do remember that the online connectivity features were a big thing in this game, and I remember seeing like all the different things you could do. It was really advanced for its time, and you know how they had like these very still images of Pokemon in the previous games, whereas like yeah the animations for the attacks look cool, but they were still just flat images during battle. In this game, when you played it, you could actually see them kind of like moving back and forth, almost like a GIF image.
Okay.
Is that a GIF or a JPEG? What is it? A moving image.
A GIF? I don't know. Yeah,
Like
okay.
a GIF?
So it still didn't fully embrace the whole 3D aspect, right?
No, but it got close. It looked like it was an impressive game, much like Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum.
For what I remember, like what like also kind of put me off from this generation was some of the Pokemon designs. Is this the one with the ice cream? Or is
I
that a different
believe
one?
so. Vanilla.
Yeah, there's like an ice cream one, and there's like a trash bag or something. Like, a lot of Pokemon designs from this generation on... I mean, I would even say from Generation 4 on, started looking a little over-designed, you know?
Garbodor.
Garbodor. Gotta love Garbodor. He's the garbage.
Here's the garbage. You have some good ones, you have some great ones, and you have some terrible ones.
It's just like, I noticed during this time, because you know, even though I didn't play these games, I was still obviously like exposed to Pokemon through different games or through different mediums, you know?
This is where
through
it
other
got
fans.
lazy. Like,
You think so?
you have a Pokemon called Fungus. You have a Pokemon called Deerling. You have one called Clink, and then you have one called Clang. And then you have one, can you guess what the evolved form is?
What?
Kling Clang.
Wow.
You have another one called Electric. These are bad Teddy level jokes.
Yeah, they're pretty stale. I don't know. I just know like a lot of the later generation, which I think also follows into the next few generations, like started to over-design a lot of Pokemon, where like they didn't look like just animals anymore. I couldn't tell what the hell they were.
Mm-hmm.
For the most part, you know, I'm just like, what the fuck am I looking at?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I do want to give it the benefit of the doubt. I would like to play it again before I say that the story is or is not worth it, but to be honest, I don't think you're missing much if you don't play this.
Okay. Well, I didn't, so.
Okay. Maybe one day you will.
Maybe. I mean, I don't really play handhelds, but maybe if they remake it. Which I'm sure they will.
What would they call the remake?
I don't know. They gotta do Diamond and Pearl first.
Pokemon Pitch Black.
Pitch Black and
Tidy White.
Tidy White. It's too white. Tidy Whiteys. That's the white fans, the Tidy Whiteys. Moving on to the 3DS.
3DS, baby.
I did play this one, mainly because the 3DS, I was an early 3DS adopter, and I did have my fair share of fun with 3DS titles, and this was out. I came out during my 3DS run where I was buying new games.
It's the chromosomes.
X and Y.
And Y. And
Let's just talk about the naming convention of the Pokemon franchise, can we? It goes from colors to rocks, to letters.
Okay.
That's epic.
I can't. I have nothing to say about the naming conventions.
X and Y. I bought X.
I bought X.
Did you? Okay.
That makes it female.
My favorite thing, which I think I did with the other, which I said on the last game talk, I like to buy the Pokemon that has like the the dumber looking legendary. That way, like I know most other people are buying the one with the cooler looking one.
Mm-hmm.
So I could trade and stuff. So yeah, this one, I was excited for this game because like they did promise 3D, you know.
And they delivered in more ways than we wanted, but they delivered.
Yeah, the game looks nice. I'll give them that.
The combat looks great. Seeing Pokemon in 3D on the battlefield is spectacular.
Yeah, it was like that Pokemon game I always wanted, you know, as a kid.
Until you get to France.
Until you get to France. Yeah, this game's French themed.
There's a city in like the middle of the game that's like a main city, and it's like you pedal around it or something. It is not a good location.
I didn't finish this one.
Okay. I did.
I remember that. I think I got bored. I think I still wasn't drawn into the whole Pokemon thing again.
Big thing for me was this is the first game where they let you change the language, so I managed to do a lot of practice with my Japanese by playing it.
Oh, cool.
And so I did finish, and then I ended up doing a lot of online battles afterwards, which was a big standout for this generation for me, was that it was so easy to just have battles online. And that's where I really got into competitive Pokemon battles, which is a thing. And I really got into like customizing my team. My problem with it was that it became very complicated with a scene that was filled with like people training for effort values and making sure that Pokemon had perfect IVs. And I just became too obsessed with the stuff. And before I knew it, I logged 700 hours into the game.
Now, was this the one that brought in the Mega Evolutions?
That too. That was the thing.
Okay, that was this one.
Yeah.
I don't remember a damn Pokemon from this generation except for Throw, because his name's Throw.
Gen 5.
Wait, Throw's from Gen 5?
Throw and Qua. No, I forget the other one's name.
Okay, Throw's Gen 5. Well, whatever. Well, I don't know a damn Pokemon from this generation.
You don't remember Greninja?
Well, I know that Smash. He's a Smash Bros. Character. That's why I remember him.
Diggersby?
I don't know who that is.
Aegislash?
What?
Okay, Goodra.
Bless you.
Pumpkaboo.
Pumpkaboo. Sounds like... Pumpkaboo.
It's actually pretty cool. I would check out Pumpkaboo.
Pumpkaboo. Sounds like a ghost or something from Halloween.
People picked on the keys here. Clef key.
There's keys.
There's a set of keys.
Like I said, I didn't finish this, so I don't remember a lot of the Pokemon. I think I played this game for like 2 months, and then I was like, oh yeah, I have Animal Crossing, so I went back to playing Animal Crossing.
Speaking of which, it's coming out soon. Animal Crossing 2020.
New Horizons, man.
There goes
That's
the
my
light. Yeah,
I know. You guys are gonna see me for like a month after that.
We're gonna do 4 consecutive game talks on Animal Crossing.
Yeah, we're just gonna play Animal Crossing and like record it and then be like, what? No, nothing.
Best of 2020 button mapper crossing.
Button crossing.
Animal mapping.
X and Y. Is it worth it?
Delibird.
That sounds delicious. A Delibird.
It's like delivery, Delibird.
Delibird's here. Oh shit, my sandwich.
Was it deliberate or was it Delibird?
Oh.
Bad, I know. Okay, is it worth it? It depends. Nowadays, I don't know. You got Sword and Shield, which has less Pokemon, so... There's 721 Pokemon in between X and Y's Pokedex.
That's crazy. That's a lot of Pokemon.
Yeah. It was a lot to manage, I think, and maybe that's why they started reducing it, like in the last gen, but we're not there yet. Oh, this is the one where they paywalled bringing Pokemon over from other gens.
Oh, it was the Pokebank, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get involved with that.
It's not. It was like $2 a year or something, but it's still shady,
scummy. Like they could have easily just offered that shit for free.
Because they did. They did it for free in the previous generation.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, as we know, Game Freak and all of them, they don't have the best reputation.
Nowadays, I don't know how that happened.
Yeah.
Where's Postman? When you need him.
Where's Timbo the badass elephant?
It's right there on your PS4.
That was Game Freak.
Yeah.
Where's what's that game they did, Little Town Hero or whatever they did recently? I don't know.
Where's Whooper?
Where's Whooper? All right, moving on. I did not play the next generation, so I don't know a damn thing about it, Teddy.
Me neither. Gen 7 was that Pikachu Aloha or something?
Pikachu Aloha. It was the Sun and Moon, right?
Yeah.
I know the sun is a big gassy ball in the sky, and the moon is a rock, so...
Bro, I don't know what they did here. They did Pokemon Sun and Moon, then a year later they did Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon.
Oh yeah, they did, didn't they? What's up with that?
It's not DLC, but it is...
What happened? It sounds like a Street Fighter release.
I don't know. I don't know these Pokemon. They're very strange to me. You have a kitten named Litten.
I've seen that in Shield.
Mm-hmm. I was not interested in this. Were you?
Nope. This was I tried to hop back on Pokemon with X and Y. Didn't care. Hop back off. And I think by the time this came out, I just wasn't playing handheld games anymore either.
How much of a chance do you think there is for you to go back and play this?
If somebody gave me a copy, I might stick it in my DS one rainy Saturday or something.
Okay.
But in terms of me buying it, I don't care.
This is like a bargain bin purchase for me. I would spend $5 on this.
Oh yeah. Or if it's I'm buy two get one free, and there's nothing else I wanted, for free, I'd be like, well, I guess I'm getting Pokemon.
Yeah, I think they did some weird stuff like the gym battles, but this is where they started to get a little more trendy. I think customizing stuff.
Was this before or after Pokemon Go came out?
I think it's before.
Okay. Well, I don't know.
It's not a bright day for Pokemon Sun.
Ooh, moving on.
The last gen.
Moving on from the 3DS to Nintendo's current handheld console.
Pokemon.
We just did a whole game talk about Sword and Shield, but we actually recorded that a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, it was Sword and Shield. How much progress have you made?
I'm gonna be 100% honest, 0. I have. I want to get back into it. It's still sitting in my Switch. I just haven't played my Switch because the holidays happened. I got a PlayStation VR. I got a copy of Borderlands 3, so I've been playing my PS4 a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I just haven't been on my Switch really.
Well, I'm still waiting for a battle.
I know. Well, you're probably way ahead of where I am. So.
Well, after I beat the Elite Four, I just kind of paused.
Oh, okay. I need to jump back into it, but I'm still engaged. I'd say, other than the distractions of the holiday season and stuff weighing me down from really playing more. I'm still engaged with the game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still having fun with it.
What do you think's been best improvement, enhancement, change for the Gen 8?
I think we mentioned this in the game talk, but I like the wild area quite a bit. And that just needs to be the game.
Yeah. There needs to be standard where it's like to see the Pokemon in the wild,
Yeah.
exploring different regions, make it meaningful.
Yeah, they need to take away the routes or the routes or whatever and just make it like Breath of the Pokemon, you know? Very cool idea. Some of the very cool ideas in that game. I do understand the frustration though with the whole, not the full Pokédex. We talked about that too. And honestly, they could have just given me the first 4 generations and I would have been okay. I mean, honestly, like playing Shield, that's the best part about the game to me is whenever I find a Pokemon that I know, because then I'm just like, oh my god, I need him. You know?
Yeah.
It's like, oh my god, a Wobbuffet, I need that. Yeah.
They did some other tweaks to make the game more friendly. I mean, they've always had XP share, or for a while, not always. But one thing they did is when you catch Pokemon, you can like swap him directly into your party. Or oh no, you know what it is? You can take a Pokemon out of your PC even when you're like on the road.
That's cool, yeah.
Your Pokemon don't need.
I didn't know that.
Like you can call a Corviknight service to come pick you up and fly you just by going to the town map.
I didn't know about the PC thing at first, and then I was playing with my girlfriend, and she wanted to trade something, so I was like, hold on, let me go to the Poke Center so I could get the Pokemon out of the PC. And she was like, what are you talking about? We could just do it from here. And I was like, what?
So there's a bunch of cool little tweaks like that I think make the game a lot more friendly, that do get overlooked.
Yes. And again, even though there's not a full Pokédex, I still feel like there's a strong collection of Pokemon in this game. Some of them I still have no fucking clue who they are. But, you know, with me not really experiencing much the last few generations, it's kind of like I have a whole, like, big generation full of Pokemon to learn. I know, like, maybe if I did know the last few generations, it wouldn't be that cool. It'd be like, oh, there's not that many new Pokemon or something, you know? But with me not knowing them, like, it is cool to see all these Pokemon that I have no clue which generation they're from. I'm not familiar with them, so they're new to me. I see. So, 8 generations of Pokemon, Teddy, and things haven't really changed too much.
I'm having deja vu to Game Talk.
Without the character designs and some of the gameplay systems changed, but overall, he's still just going to be a 10-year-old boy sent out into the world to catch wild animals.
Yeah, when are they making the Elder Edition?
Yeah, when is the elder people going?
That's the next Pokemon, is Pokemon Old and Young.
Pokemon Old and Young. The ultimate version is like Pokemon Middle Age or something. Lord.
Pokemon in the womb.
If there's anything you could bring to the table for Generation 9, what would it be?
Dragon Quest.
Okay, well, let's not talk about Dragon Quest.
Okay. What would I bring to the table for Pokemon 9? Do they do numbers? They haven't done numbers. Let's do numbers.
I don't mean naming systems. I just mean like gameplay wise.
Oh, get rid of Fairy, man. Oh, we didn't even talk about that. That was X and Y.
Oh, X and Y had Fairy?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't.
Fairy just nerfs too many types. I didn't appreciate that.
Okay.
And they gave it such a wimpy type, like Fairy.
Fairy. Is Link in there?
Link's a boy.
My advice to the Pokemon team for Gen 9 would be to explore, just make the game a little more adventure-ish, you know?
Yeah.
Like, maybe take some notes from Zelda, take some notes from some other RPGs, Dragon Quest 11 or something. Make the game, make the world a lived world, you know? Make it something that I want to explore.
Mm-hmm.
Not just like, oh, I have to go on this pathway because it leads to my next town. You know, like make it something that I want to explore and give me objectives throughout the world, but stop with the linear progression.
Mm-hmm. Or maybe you could even be a Pokemon.
I think that's asking for too much. That's a spinoff.
Okay.
That's Pikachu Poke Park or whatever it was on the Wii.
Oh, maybe they could make like the real Detective Pikachu or something. I don't know. I don't know. I'm sick of Pokemon. I'm tired of it. It's. I play too much.
And yeah, we're doing a month of Pokemon.
Maybe that's why. It's because it's Poke Month. But
Pokeware.
Yeah, Poke very much.
Yeah,
here's the thing.
Okay, go ahead.
They've released a Pokemon game like every year for the past like 20 years. They need to slow down.
Unless Generation 9 shows me something that Generation 8 didn't already give me, I'm not going to buy it. You know? Because I bought Gen 8, you know, thinking I was going to get some brand new Pokemon experience, and I did, for the most part, I think. But it's still too samey.
I honestly don't have any good answers off the top, but I just think that maybe they should look back at what made some of the strongest Pokemon the early ones.
Well, like I said, I think a lot of that has to do with the character of the Pokemons themselves.
They're running out of like things to use, you know?
Yeah, like I love the character designs for the original generation. They just good looking Pokemon, you know? Even something stupid like Psyduck is, you know, cute as hell. It's just a really frustrated duck. But, you know, I don't know.
Maybe they could merge a world, you know, like there was Mario and Rabbids. Maybe they could do Pokemon and Zelda.
Helda. Zokimon.
The Legend of Pokemon. I don't know. If you could fuse Pokemon with anything, what series would you pick?
I'm assuming it has to be Nintendo, right?
No, why not? They like sign something with the Xbox.
Pokemon and Halo. No.
That'd be fun.
Pikachu. No, that's a damn good question. What would I choose? Okay, does it still play like Pokemon or does it play like something else?
Whatever you want.
Whatever I want. You're giving me too much room to breathe. Kirby.
So Kirby can inhale every single Pokemon?
No. It's a traditional RPG with Kirby characters and Pokemon.
Okay.
So you could have Pikachu and a Waddle Dee and a Knuckle Joe and a Charmander, you know, and whatever else in your team.
Okay.
Dude,
I would pick Dragon Quest. That's my thing.
What? You pick Dragon Quest?
Where you could just play as a main party and then destroy all Pokemon and then like maybe recruit one Pokemon.
Okay.
Level up your team.
That'd be cool. I was gonna say Final Fantasy, but they already did a Pokemon game. Dragon Quest already did a Pokemon game too.
Not for the US.
That's true. Final Fantasy did. World of Final Fantasy. World of Final Fantasy is my favorite Pokemon game.
It was actually a Final Fantasy game?
Actually, Final Fantasy. I mean, you do catch monsters and you do evolve them and level them up and stuff, and you do have a team, but it's not Pokemon.
We're intellectuals here, I promise.
Pokemon and Clue-Clue-Land.
The discourse ends there.
Guys, tell us what you think about the Pokemon evolution throughout the years. Sorry, Pokemon fans, if you came to this video to hear us rave and love and whatever Pokemon generations and stuff. As you can tell, we kind of felt a little indifferent towards the end.
Sad. I don't know. It lost its charm over time. I don't know that I ever wanted Pokemon to become
Maybe it's just because we're old.
Thing.
We're old, jaded men. You know.
We're elders.
We're elders. We're the jaded elders that didn't like Generation 1.
Never thought I'd see the day. All it took was a discourse.
I just think back of those classic gamer videos where Mark is like threatening to eat Pokemon. That was classic.
Stella the Wonder Dog.
Stella the Wonder Dog. Yeah, just tell us what you think about the Pokemons, man. What's your favorite generation? What's your favorite Pokemons? Are we stupid? Tell us below.
Tell us why. Tell us why.
Tell us why. It's Pokemon and Sonic.
Pikachu the Hedgehog.
No, it's Sonic Chew.
If you could play through Sonic 2
That's
as any
already
Pokemon,
a thing. Sonic Chew's already a thing. Online.
what Pokemon would you play through Sonic 2 as? Go.
Shit. Hold on. Give me a second. I need a Pokemon that's really good at rolling. Isn't there like an elephant-looking thing that can roll? It's like an elephant.
From Pokemon Stadium 2, yeah.
Yeah, that thing.
Okay. I was going to say Jigglypuff.
Why?
Because Jigglypuff rolls. You played Smash Brothers?
Oh, well, does he roll in the games, though? Does he do any of that actually in the game?
You could teach him roll out.
Is Jigglypuff in Smash... I feel like Jigglypuff in Smash is just an original character. For Smash.
Okay.
I like Lucario. I like Deoxys.
There's some decent ones from Gen 5 that are unprecedented, like Zoroark. That's a pretty cool one.
I'm sorry, who is this?
Then you have Haxorus. Hax R Us, Toys R Us.
Haxorus? Zoroark sounds like a weird, like a friend of Wario.
Oh, could be in a distant life.
It's Wario in a Zoro costume. Wow.
Wow.
Pokemon and Wario.
Wow. Are you sure you don't want to play it through Sonic 2 as Metapod?
I want to play through Sonic 2 as Diglett.
Just dig through the stages. But then you'd be playing Dig Dug.
No, I want to play through Sonic 1 as Diglett so I can just dig through Labyrinth Zone.
What did Diglett do today?
Is that my new app or something? What did Diglett do today?
Diglett Dug.
Thanks for watching the show, everybody.
Yep. It's been a journey through 8 generations of Pokemon.
Well,
normally what might take 8 lifetimes.
It's goodbye.
Only took a button mapper hour. We appreciate you. We will see you soon. Button Mappers app.
Hey y'all, don't forget to subscribe to them button mappers.